Dr. David Miller for the Pest-Free Banks Peninsula Working Group. Welcome back.
Kia ora, tēnā koutou katoa. Very nice to see you again, Madam Mayor and representatives and staff. I'm here in my capacity as chair of the Pest-Free Banks Peninsula Working Group. I have the honour to chair it. And I want to thank you for the opportunity to talk to our submission today. In summary, I'm here on behalf of the working group to ask the Council to please support local community groups in Christchurch and Banks Peninsula that wish to work towards a vision of predator-free New Zealand and pest-free Banks Peninsula. This supports community engagement with the benefits of greater connection between people, their communities and the places they live, an improved natural environment, and a strong and sustainable economy through tourism and agriculture. We're also asking that the Council make a budget provision of only $60,000 in the 2019-20 annual plan and subsequent years to directly support community groups wishing to undertake backyard trapping or related initiatives in their neighbourhoods, as we've heard already from the Summit Road Society. The fund may be used to provide advice or training, to buy traps, or to assist community volunteers to help organise and run such groups. And thirdly, we ask the Council that this funding complements rather than replaces the Council's support for other initiatives such as Predator-Free Port Hills or Pest-Free Banks Peninsula. As I hope you're all aware, Pest-Free Banks Peninsula proposes a predator and pest-free vision that applies to the whole of Christchurch and the district, including the city and urban areas. With community support and emerging changes in technology, we believe that this vision is ambitious but achievable. It supports working collaboratively with the community and partner agencies, including Ngāi Tahu. Throughout New Zealand, there has, of course, been a rapidly growing interest for the vision of being predator-free. This extends into urban areas. A shining example is Wellington, where there is an organised network supported by the city and the regional councils. Over 4 years, this engagement in Wellington has exploded from 9 to 140 local groups, all actively trapping and monitoring the impact of their trapping. The councils are now running to catch up with the level of interest in their community as Tui, Kererū and Kaka once again fly across the city and make a wonderful cacophony. Here in Christchurch, there are similar groups establishing in communities as diverse as Hallswell, Richmond, Mount Pleasant and Wainui. These are community-led initiatives. We believe this movement and engagement will grow rapidly, and the Council needs to make provision to support these initiatives to encourage the engagement, but also to encourage a better environment. Community-based initiatives, of course, have many benefits. While nominally this is about protecting and enhancing biodiversity, it also creates a sense of belonging and connection between people, their neighbours and communities within Christchurch and the wider district. I was at the Okuti Valley Trap Library the other day at a community meeting around the Trap Library. It was astonishing. There were so many people there, everyone actively engaged, and it wasn't just about finding ways of killing things, it was about finding ways of protecting and nurturing the biodiversity in that area. So in good times, these sorts of initiatives provide a sense of purpose and achievement. In times of crisis, as we've experienced again recently, the connections with others are even more critical. They provide a network through which people communicate and share, and they help our emotional and mental well-being. We want to ensure that this Pest-Free Banks Peninsula initiative is community-led. We're asking for funding to empower these local initiatives through advice and training on how to make them effective, helping to overcome the financial barrier of purchasing safe and humane traps, and supporting coordinators who can organise and promote communication through local networks. To enable this, we ask the Council makes an ongoing budget provision of $60,000, and this can be administered by existing staff to support local groups in the most appropriate way. Of course, in Pest-Free Banks Peninsula Working Group, which includes the Port Hills, we have an interest in animal control, and we see this proposal as supporting local initiatives across the city and the wider district. While we focus on our priority areas, it's become apparent to us that there's a much wider demand from other local groups wanting to be active and to contribute in their neighbourhoods. There's a substantial amount of work involved in making Banks Peninsula pest-free. We're hopeful that this will be supported by substantial funding from Environment Canterbury, Predator Free 2050, the Department of Conservation, and of course the Council's own pest control programs and others, including thousands of volunteer hours every year. This work is in targeted areas where the greatest biodiversity benefits can be achieved. However, the funding we're asking from the Council in this submission is largely outside of those priority areas, working with local communities based across the city. We're aware and applaud that the Summit Road Society received Community Board funding in the current year for its predator control activities. We strongly support that and hope that it continues and flourishes. Just a final word about the Pest-Free Working Group. The Pest-Free Banks Peninsula Te Pātika o Rakai Hautu Partnership is a collaborative program to protect and enhance biodiversity on the peninsula through the widespread eradication of animal pests. We talk about pests rather than just predators because we're looking at feral goats and feral deer and other relatively low-hanging fruit to achieve that. In November 2018, the partnership was formalised through a Memorandum of Understanding signed by 14 foundation signatories, including the Council. This submission has been prepared by the working group to that initiative. It's been endorsed by all the members of the working group, apart from the City Council's own representatives on it who abstained from decision-making in this matter. The other members, in addition to the Christchurch City Council, include the Department of Conservation, the Rod Donald Banks Peninsula Trust, the Summit Road Society, Banks Peninsula Conservation Trust, and Environment Canterbury. Other signatories to the initiative include the Cacophony Project, hoping they'll deliver some world-class initiatives in pest eradication, Living Springs, Anuku Runanga, Selwyn District Council, Te Hapuo Ngāti Wheki, Rapaki Runanga, Te Runanga o Kokorarata, Te Taumutu Runanga, Wairiwa Runanga, and the Quail Island Trust. So thank you very much for listening, and glad to answer any questions you may have.
Oh, thank you very much, and thank you for what you do too. Glenn.
Thank you, David, and I appreciate your request for the funding, and no doubt you know many groups do.
Yes.
Christchurch has a majority shareholding in Transwaste, which oversees Cape Valley, including its environmental sustainability objectives over Turamoana Bush, where effectively it's becoming pest-free through, goat and pig eradication.
Yep.
So in terms of funding, are you open to support in kind as well, or partly instead of?
We've benefited.
We've got some expertise we could offer.
Yes, thank you very much for that.
Clear that too.
We've benefited very much from support from existing services and staff within the council,
Okay. Yep.
and we are certainly open to more support. We need all the help we can get as we move forward. I have a feeling what's going to happen is that we'll reach a critical point where suddenly a lot of money, hopefully a lot of money will come in, and suddenly we move from hoping to implementing, and that's when practical experience, on the ground experience, advice and support will be particularly warmly welcome.
I think
Thank you.
the particular focus though of this submission though is different. It's for a contestable fund so that the community itself can come together, and I really liked your reference to coming together in good times and in bad, because once you've got those connections, they can be you can fall back on those connections for other purposes, and I guess that's what's building that community resilience.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a form of social capital, I think,
Yeah.
that has a substance beyond just the phrase, you know.
Absolutely.
And
we don't need to wait for a crisis
That's
for
right,
that to
yes.
be developed. But actually, if we develop it in good times, it is there if there is a crisis.
That's right.
Yeah.
And at the
You
same
speak my
time,
language,
biodiversity is enhanced and built.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.